I just want something that's mine. I'm always someone's mom, or wife, or daughter, or employee. I am those things, but it's like I've turned into someone who's always attached to someone else, and the real me is gone. I know I should be grateful for all the people in my life. I love them, and I am grateful. But what would happen if I did something just for myself? Would everyone think I've gone crazy? Would the world stop and kick me off?
Oh, hey kids. I'm sounding kind of heavy here on a beautiful spring morning. I've got my sketchbooks out to get started, and I was just reading a passage I had written previously. It reminded me that most women have spells in their life where they are everything to everyone, and they actually get crowded out of their own lives. And if that goes on long enough, and it often does, sometimes we can forget who we really are. I had to think about it. Has it happened to you? Do you feel that way now? If so, you're in pretty good company. Why don't we talk about it while I paint? I think I'll work in my orchid book today because working on flowers always cheers me. And I figured out a long time ago that when I do things that are healthy for me, I feel a whole lot better. It's the kind of thing that makes me feel connected to myself and who I am and who I want to be. I'm fortunate because I am retired now and I have more time for this kind of thing. But what if you're not quite to that point yet? Well, we'll figure that out. Okay, I've got my drawing, and I'm going to tape that off, and I have a little different setup today. I usually use my box I made of the dried gouache, and I have noticed on YouTube that a lot of the creators, or a lot of the artists, are using fresh gouache right out of the tube, and oh my gosh, it just looks so much more saturated. I love the look, but I'm frugal with my paint. So I've squeezed out just a little bit to experiment a little bit today. So I'm not sure where this is going to go, but we'll find out.
So, back to that desire for something just for yourself. That is so common and normal for older women. We've been on duty for years and get disconnected because we're overwhelmed by taking care of everyone else, often for long periods of time. If it does go deeper than that, and you've suffered some real trauma, don't hesitate to get professional help. You deserve that in your life, and a simple pep talk will not be enough. Please treat yourself kindly. Recognize the difference. I am not a health professional. I just speak from the heart and from experience, but not for medical advice. Meanwhile, why is the need for something of your own cropping up now? Simply because you've put yourself last. Do you remember how things changed when you had kids? That's when it started. You suddenly learned that you had to buy shoes for them before getting any for yourself. They came first. When I was young, I had 3 toddlers under age 3, twins plus 1. I had a busy household, and my treat for myself in the evenings was a tall glass of iced tea, and the children wanted sips of it. No way. They could have their own, but that glass of tea was mine. I loved their slobbers, but not in my tea. Maybe you like doing things for others because it gets you praise or approval, or just keeps the peace, and that becomes a habit. At any rate, it is a learned behavior, not a moral fault that makes you feel guilty if you don't do those things. And about that guilt. In this case, it's merely a false alarm, like the smoke detector going off. When you're cooking, the house isn't on fire, that alarm is just overreacting. The guilt is an overreaction too, and you don't need to pay attention to it. What you need is to desensitize it, and we'll talk about how to do that later.
I think I need a break. I have some flowers in the kitchen waiting to be arranged, so why don't we go out there and tend to that?
I have flowers today, and I'm going to show you how I like to arrange them. These came home from Trader Joe's a day or so ago. And what I do is I bring them in and get them out of the wrappers and put them in. This is a Dollar Tree trash can. And I fill it, half full of water and some flower food and stick them in there. And they usually sit overnight because after I get done with my shopping, I'm not in the mood to really arrange flowers. So those are ready to go. Swiss Army knife, which I got in Switzerland. And I have this product called Quick Dip. I read about it online. I've been using it. I think it makes a difference. I couldn't be entirely sure. But you dip the cut stem in it right away, just for a second. And it helps keep the flower hydrated. And I think I read that it keeps the air bubble that goes up in it from doing that, and, extends the life of the flower. Now, here's my secret. I have a couple containers of greenery from Hobby Lobby, and I use it every week. Instead of buying greenery, which would be nice, I use plastic greenery to not only fill up the container somewhat that holds the flowers better, and then I don't have to tape them, but it's reusable, so it saves me a lot of money. I always do 2 containers because one time I put some in the bathroom. Now I'm not happy unless I do. So this small one is usually a good fit for the smaller container. I have quite a few vases, so I change them every week. We're going to have to put something in there that holds the base down. This is so tall. Now these guys, Gerbera daisies, they come with a plastic sleeve to keep their heads from bending, and I don't take them off because their heads will bend, and that would break my heart. My goodness. This is taller than I can see. Oh my goodness, this one already started to droop. It's, oh, poor thing. It's already done. Okay. Now, darn it, that messed up my count. Okay, well, I think these will all go in the big one. There won't be one for the little container. Pooey. All right, now, here's the thing. So then you gotta work your way down through the plastic stuff, but that's okay. At least it holds them up without a lot of taping. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't use my knife to trim them. Okay, here we go. Back them out. I usually trim them into the trash. And I didn't bring the trash over either. Oh, dip, dummy. Let's dip. Okay. Well, you can see I am not an expert. And I still have all my fingers, although I have cut myself because I'm not an expert with a knife either. As far as my fake greenery, these little ones, I'm always like impressed with what a difference they make, because we got this, and I got several pieces in here so that it's pretty full. And then when you put these on the front, to me, they just really pull it together. So now let's go put them where they go. Oh, I don't know what happened there. And you are a monster. It is a monster. Monster baby. My flowers are a ritual I do every week. It's very comforting to have a routine and tend to things, and it fits in my life. I like having something alive and fresh in the house, and they are such eye candy. What can fit in your life like that? And back to painting. Something to keep in mind is that other thoughts will get in your way when you try to do something just for yourself. What if you feel guilty about spending money? That's a big one. Do you earn money but don't feel like you can spend it on yourself? Does it seem wasteful? It is not wasteful to invest in yourself in a balanced way. Your own well-being and happiness are worth investing in, especially in small ways. Does it seem like you should be frugal in case you need that money later? Well, kids, so far it's not the Great Depression. Things fluctuate, but you know how to deal with that. Surely you can trust yourself not to go wild and spend until you lose the farm. Depend on that trust. It's a healthy sign of self-respect. And remember, you can treat yourself and still be a good person. Remind yourself of that. Say it out loud if you have to. You're retraining your brain here, which might take a little bit of convincing. You taught your brain to deny yourself, so let's turn that around. The bottom line is that not honoring yourself robs you of the joy small pleasures bring. It robs you of the energy you don't get from refueling with things that refresh you. It even robs you of the power of being yourself and in charge of your own well-being. If you don't allow yourself permission to fill your own needs, you are not in control of your life. Your guilt and self-sacrifice is. You don't need to do that to yourself. Okay, well, I guess it's just dry enough that I can take the tape off, which is always a fun part. I hadn't been taping these kind of sketches for years until I saw it on YouTube from another artist, and I thought, oh, I used to do that, and it was so fun to take it off. It's kind of a little minor miracle. I don't know why I stopped doing that. You know how any of your things you do, sometimes you have a favorite part. Well, it's kind of dumb because I like the painting. I mean, the painting part. And to give importance to the tape, which is taking off a little bit of the paper too. But that's okay because it's a decal edge, which means it's rough It was torn, not cut. Okay, one more. And this is painter's tape. It shouldn't be, oh, I was going to say it shouldn't be that hard on the paper, but this is a sticky painter's tape. I'm pretty pleased with that. Well, another orchid. And I do love them. I generally sign my name on the right side, but this one isn't up for that. So that will do. And there we go. I'll have to get farther away from it and take a good look. They're never really done. Because even years later when you see them, you think, oh, I should have done that or that. But that's okay. We're definitely at a stopping point.
I mentioned earlier dealing with misplaced guilt. True needs are nothing to feel guilty about. It's interesting that there's a real difference between a need and a demand. You're not being demanding or selfish to pay a normal amount of attention to yourself. Now, some of us have to learn that the hard way because we have a lifetime of caring for others and we put ourselves behind that. And eventually our brain gets trained to just be that way, react that way, and it becomes who we are. Somehow you drift into the idea that you don't deserve the same consideration that you actually give everyone else. So now you got to retrain your brain because that is how you'll get rid of that unnecessary guilt and come to know again that you are worth the same kindness you show to others. However, dealing with that guilt might not be easy. It's one thing for me to sit here and give you ideas, but it can be a big step to put yourself first when you haven't done it in a long time. Let's not underestimate the significance of this. This guilt is not about whether you can afford it or whether it's okay with anyone else. It's not about getting permission. And listen to me when I say this. What it's really about is, are you worth it? And that is a pretty big deal. So I have an idea, and I will do it too. Let's start with something small. Set a limit of $10 or less, or a little more if you have the budget. And you know, I talk about small things making a big difference all the time. For me, it's often my flowers. And that is one thing I said I would let you know about doing something different like the coffee cup. Well, I realized that I already do that. My flowers I change weekly. I change the vase, and they have a special place where they go that I walk by them every day. And it's a weekly variety that's fresh and new and breaks up my routine and my day. So that's the follow-up on that. So like I said, I don't spend a lot of money on my flowers. Trader Joe's and $10 will give me a lot. Sometimes even $5 if I'm a little short. Sometimes it's my art supplies or a trip to the thrift store, which can end up with a new coffee cup or a pretty dish or even another flower vase. What will it be for you? Is there something on your Amazon wish list that you could just order on a Tuesday and kind of surprise yourself? Do you have a local coffee shop that you could go to for an hour with a book and just enjoy the atmosphere? Not one of those big name places, but something local with plants and mismatched chairs and low coffee tables. Or do what I do, go to Trader Joe's and pick up some flowers just for you, not for a party, not for the dinner table, and put them wherever you will enjoy them the most. This is important. You know, changing to feel your own self-worth doesn't happen overnight. You didn't get this way overnight, and it won't go back overnight. So, I don't think one bunch of flowers will be a cure. No, this is an ongoing process, and we'll come back to it here from time to time, along with other things and interesting topics to chat about, as well as some drawing and painting. I like having you along to keep me company while I sort things out myself. You're kind of keeping me honest here, which I need. So please join me if it suits you. Also, please comment. Remember, you are always welcome here. See you next time.